Oh, this is a mess right here. This is too much. Cables on the floor, guitars not put up. Who knows what all this is. Cables all in disarray. This whole situation, because I was just filming something late last night. See, today I'm gonna be doing what I've been wanting to do for like over a year now, and that's give you guys a studio tour of this whole space. But the problem is, it's a wreck, and so I'm gonna clean it up. Then I'm gonna show you all my favorite things in here in case it would benefit you somehow, or maybe you just want to be entertained because you never get to see like behind the curtain. So here we go. See, I like being clean. I like to stay organized, but you know, the speed of life sometimes does not permit. The reason I like staying clean is so I can find what I need when I need it, and it keeps things from being broken. Let me show you what I mean. The other day I was just in here working and I was just in the zone and I backed up with my rolly chair, and look what I did here. Look at this. My nice camera broke the screen right off. Broke it right off, and I'm telling you, my heart sunk. I immediately bought like one of those field monitors to go on top so I could see, because I can't even see it. It was a touch screen, all that stuff. But then I realized, oh yeah, I have one of these HDMI out, and I can just shine it up on the TV, and that's what I end up doing. I took back the field monitor. The point is, it's important to stay organized. Whew, it's getting a little toasty in here. I put in an air unit like back when I built the place, and immediately lost the remote. So now I have to do it from an app, which is cool. I was gonna download the app anyways, but sometimes I just wanna point it quick, but I have to download the app, and it's pretty cool, but I'm working, so I can, you hear it beeping up there? There, that'll cool it off a bit. All right, I'm doing something I've always wanted to do, and it took making this video to get organized enough to do it. Right here, I have the RJM Mini Effects Gizmo. I heard about this from Brian Wall at Worship Tutorials. I think they have like a bigger version now, but let me show you this. Basically, this is a device that lets me loop in all my pedal boards, and then I can select them by just selecting which pedal board I want. The problem is that they're color coded, but I can never remember which one is which. So I just numbered them. Here we go. Yeah, finally. I'm gonna be able to look up there and see exactly what I wanna know. I don't necessarily want to cover up this logo right here, but function over form at this point. Beautiful. I am way too excited about that. All right, I think it's ready. Let's go take a look inside as if we haven't been in there before. And you'll get to see it for the first time. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna try to break this down into little categories and use timestamps down below to go see what you want, because I have a lot of different things I could show off in this room, from gear and filming stuff and desk setup, and I don't know what you want to watch, so I'm just gonna cover it all, and you can choose what you want to watch. So number one, filming equipment. Let me show you my cameras. I have 3 cameras. The first one here is the Canon SL2. It hangs from the ceiling and does my top-down shots. My other camera is the Canon T6i, and both of them have the Sigma 18-35 1.8 lens on them. And my pride and joy is this Canon EOS R with the RF lens, the 15-35 image stabilized. I love this thing. Oh, and I'm also filming on an iPhone 11. All right, we'll move on to lighting. I have these circle lights right here. These are newer. I bought them when I was in my bedroom because they are really thin and they're bicolor. Editing Jimmy here, I realized that sometimes I reference my bedroom, and some of you might be watching this and this is the first video you've ever seen on my channel. I used to film all my YouTube videos in a small corner of my bedroom. So if you randomly hear me refer to my bedroom, that's what I'm talking about. I also have a smaller one hanging up here. I think this is a 10-inch and that is a 17-inch. And this one just like shines down on the back of my head like a rim light, so it makes me look pretty. The newest addition are these newer flat panel RGB lights. I can control these via an app. I just recently got them, but I really like them. Now the big key light here is the Amaran 200D. And I have the Light Dome SE on there, and I just recently put this grid on here. So it shines light on me without getting a lot of spill somewhere else. It's also good for taking pictures of petals. Next on lighting is this tube lighting. I have one there with some like a tinted colored plastic thing that I slid on there to give it a blue vibe. And then these here, they're really nice. They just kind of highlight the wall behind me and make the guitar shine. But they were way too bright and I had to buy some tinted tape to put on them because they're not dimmable. I don't always use them, but sometimes I do. They look pretty good. Now, I know I'm mentioning things without giving you like model numbers. I'll try to link everything down below if you're interested on everything that I mentioned today. Last up for lighting, or actually two more lights in here. I just have some rope light behind the TV and behind my monitor. It's not super bright, but it's pretty good. It's better than the stuff on Home Depot that I bought at Home Depot. These are on Amazon. Kind of just stick it to the back of the TV like that. And I also have it over there on my monitor. Final light is my can lights, which are RGB as well, and I can control them via the app on my phone. So I can make it real bright, or right now it's on like a magenta color. You can see it bouncing off the walls a little bit. The other thing I get questions about is this tubing on the wall. I got the idea from the YouTube channel Becky and Chris. They're like a photography channel. I learn a lot from their stuff. And they did this on their ceiling. Actually, they did this very thing. So I have another one up there, have it mounted to the studs, and then I can just hang things. It's very important in a small space like this to get everything up off the ground as much as possible. So I have this light hanging up there with the Manfrotto magic arm here. Another one up there. It's kind of tucked away, and then I have a cheaper extension to kind of get that a little lower. And then I can just move this wherever I want to. And that's very convenient for me. And speaking of the Becky and Chris YouTube channel, in one of their videos, they showed this nice storage system from IKEA, and I just loved it because there's so much storage, but you can also sit on it. It's seating height. So if someone comes in and they need to sit, if it's clean, they can sit down. Some people have asked what's in these drawers, so I'll show you if you're interested. It's usually just gear that I'm about to do like a review on. I have some stuff there, some old pedals, more pedals. Yep, this one here is just more junk. I'm also in school, I'm in seminary right now, and so I have a bunch of books. Over here I have all the cables that I need to get to really quickly. I got some power cables and HDMI and instrument cables. And down here I have a lot of my patch cables that I use for tutorials and stuff. Here, miscellaneous pedal board building apparatuses, some in-ear things, power supplies, just junk. Here's some cleaning things and guitar string changing tools. I also made my own soundproofing panels. Some are black, the ones that are on the black wall, and then some are not black, kind of grayish. Got a few of them up there. It was super budget. It's just a memory foam that we had in our house. And then I bought some really cheap like 1x2 boards, pre-drilled them so they wouldn't like split apart. And then I just wrapped them and stapled them with sheets from Walmart, the colors that I wanted. Cuts down on sound pretty well. I have one rug here. I think I'd like to be able to roll things a lot, and I feel like a rug will get in the way, but this floor definitely echoes a good bit more than I would want. All right, so my desk set up. Both of these desks are like a 52 by 24 inch Husky workstation, pretty much. They have drawers, a lot of storage. Really like it. Sometimes I keep them organized and sometimes I don't. This one's the most organized. They are sit stand, but you have to do them yourself because I was too cheap to like purchase a desk that had a motor in it. So I actually don't stand as much as I would want. I also have this like leather topper that goes on the desk, so I have a couple different views. I can just have the tabletop, I can have this, and I also have a whiteboard that is in here. You may have seen in a couple videos where I'm explaining things. I'll roll that out there and I can do some dry erase on there. My monitor is a Philips ultra wide. I think it's 34 inches. It's nothing too fancy as far as like the pixel count and everything, but I needed a big workstation and I really enjoy it. My studio monitors are the KRK Rocket 5s. I think these are the second generation. Also nothing special. I think one day I would like to upgrade these for sure, but right now they get the job done. I run everything into the Focusrite 2i2 just like everyone else in the world. I run a MacBook Air. Got one of those little holding things so it stands up, comes out Thunderbolt into an Anchor dock, like a little hub there that everything goes into. Also have this Anchor phone charger. I can put my phone on there and it'll start charging when it's plugged in, but it does make noise like if I'm recording guitar. Also I'm using the Apple Magic Mouse and keyboard, and these also make noise. So I don't know. It's a little noisy, but I love it so much. So as long as I'm not using them while I'm trying to like record guitar, it's not that big a deal. I got the Sennheiser HD600s for monitoring as well. I also have the Google Mesh internet system. We had to dig a huge ditch to get power down to the building. And so since we were gonna do that, I thought ahead and hardwired. I tapped in off of the Ting fiber internet and got it hardwired down here. So internet is blazing fast. I mean, back in the olden days, I would upload a video at night, usually if I was working at night or editing at night. And sometimes it would take an hour or two, or I would just have to like go to bed and hope it uploaded while I was sleeping. And now it's blazing fast. Like the video uploads quicker than I can even type in all the information for YouTube, like the title and stuff. Like I said, I have the Google Pod things for other things that need internet, like the TV and any other devices. I use the TV for monitoring. So, well, like I already told you, I broke my camera, so I'm mainly using it for that now. But I can also like look at things on the TV and listen like in a normal situation what things will sound like if someone doesn't have a sound bar, if they don't have studio monitors, what's it gonna sound like on just like a regular TV. I would like to get a sound bar one day at least, because it is pretty weak, but it's extra stuff. And I also use the TV for live streaming, so I monitor, like when I live stream through the YOLO Box Pro. Since I mentioned it, let me show you. We could say that this part of the video is sponsored by YOLO Box because they sent me this for free, and I told them I would include it in my studio tour whenever I did that, which was like a long time ago. I said I would do this. That's why I'm just getting to it now. But this is the YOLO Box Pro. This thing allows me to go live when I do, which is not too often, but when I do, it allows me to go live without a computer. It's just an all-in-one. I can come out HDMI to go 3 different cameras. It's a switcher. I can monitor externally up on the big TV, like I said. I can play music and guitar through here. You could add your own SIM card. You can upload stuff via the SD. It's really cool. Thank you guys at YOLO Box. They also always do updates. There's even an update right now that I gotta go check out. So thank you YOLO Box. YOLO. Now where were we? We had the hub over here. Everything goes also into this USB hub. I don't know if you can see that, but they're all labeled Helix, HXFX, XL, all the HX Stomp, Pod Go. And what I absolutely love about this is the fact that I can pull up like different devices via HX Edit. So all I gotta do is turn it on. Turned on a couple of them, we'll see them pop up. And look at that, 3 different devices. I can drag and drop presets if I want. I mean, if you guys don't know, I make presets for all these units called the EXPANSE pack. Check it out down below. But that kind of leads into the next phase, which is the gear side of things. So I have this rack right here. Actually made a video about this. I put like soft close drawer sliders on here so I can pull out whatever pedal board I want to work on. Got the Pod Go, the HX Stomp, the Helix, the XL, and then another Stomp and the HX Effects down there. What's cool is out of the back, I have everything USB'd into that thing that we just talked about, but I also have everything run into this RJM that I talked about earlier. And I want to give a huge shout out to JH Pro Audio for meeting me halfway on these cables right here. All these pedals here are patched in with these high quality cables. I didn't want to buy something from Amazon and have it fail on me. So he custom made all these cables for me, exactly what I needed. You can notice here that because this is the, what was it called? The Gizmo X or the Pro, I don't know. Everything's stereo, so they are stereo loops back there. So I come out of the back of each unit left and right, and then the bottom row down there is TRS cables, and I also leave TRS and come TS into my Focusrite. So like I said, thank you so much, Jake, I believe, from JH Pro Audio. Go follow them on Instagram, and if you need some cable hookup, he's the guy to do it. As far as guitars, I have my Fender Made in Mexico Telecaster with custom rich mahogany pickguard. Actually, I think it's walnut. Made it myself. I have my first guitar ever. This is an Alvarez acoustic. Love that thing. Will never get rid of either one of these guitars. I probably won't get rid of anything. This is my most recent purchase, the Reverend Gil Paris Natural. I bought this because it's so versatile. Before I only had single coils and of course making presets, I wanted another option. This has the HSH, so I have the 5-way switch here, but I also have this bass contour knob, and I just love this guitar. For those of you who don't know, I don't play bass much, but I had a friend on my worship team who actually just recently passed away. from ALS. He was one of my bass players for the last 6.5 years. It's actually really sad, and it's been difficult, but when he passed away, he left me some gear, and one of the things he left me was this Fender P bass, and I actually just led worship with it last Sunday in honor of him and enjoyed every minute of it. There's so much versatility. I don't know much about bass, but there's like 4 different knobs, and then this knob is a double knob. I don't even know what they all do yet, but I was able to dial in a sound that was just really good. I have storage up there, and over there is another Schecter bass that maybe I'll get some B-roll later. It's real heavy. I don't want to get it down right now. But yeah, those are my guitars. And then he also left me this Crate bass amp, which I've already been using in videos because it has an effects loop built in. Actually, the video that just posted yesterday, I was able to use this and demonstrate how to use the 4 cable method. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. Like and subscribe, you know, the whole YouTube thing. I also wanted this space to be a place where my family could come down and make music, so I bought this used Roland V-drum. I don't remember the model number. Does it say? The TD8. And then I use the iPad along with the iOS app, the iPad app from Sunday Keys, and we use this M Audio Code 61, and we have some jam sessions as a family. And then lastly over here, I have this charging station. There's nothing more frustrating than wanting to do something, needing to do something, feeling inspired, and then grabbing something and it being dead. So I built this little charging station just to keep all the random little things that I have charged. Got some microphones there. I made videos about this. This is great. I love this thing. It's the X32 It's a wireless in-ear system. Works great. The only downfall is it's just mono. This one right here is the new X BSM B7 SM PSM7. I don't remember what it is. And it's also wireless, and it's stereo, but it doesn't work well at my church. Some leftover lenses, battery, powering station, some USB stuff, more wireless guitar things. You guys know I love the new X wireless guitar system. And then paint. This paint is the color of that wall because a long time ago I was going to paint those little things because I think they look horrible, but I just haven't done it. Plus I need to touch up, and I bought the paint and everything, but I just haven't done it. What else? I got my camera bag here, my day-to-day bag filled with all the things that I need for like a Sunday. I usually have 2 sets of in-ears in here. I always keep my wireless guitar stuff in there, my Bible's in there, my laptop, the Ableton computer, and here's all my camera stuff for when I travel. There's not probably a lot in there right now. I got some miscellaneous tripod things, got some merch stuff here. I have struggled with merch lately. I got this cool little ladder that fits perfectly back in that hole over there. And nice massive windows because I wanted to feel like I was out in nature even when I'm inside. My New York picture, let me tell you why this is important and significant to me. In 2016, my family and I went to New York City. We camped actually to save money. Found a campsite on Staten Island, and this is the view from Rockefeller Center. And we did this with the kids, and it was a huge, great memory. And I always want to remember it. And every time I look at that, I remember that trip. It's just beautiful. You can see the skyline, but there's actually these stripes here. These are not UFOs or missiles streaking across the sky. My old office building at the church I serve at burnt down, and some of my stuff also got affected, but this did not get burnt. And a team came in and they sprayed some stuff to get rid of the odor, and I guess this was sitting this way, and they sprayed my painting and didn't wipe it, and it just streaked. But it streaked across the sky, so it actually kind of looks cool. I don't know if I said this yet, but I use Final Cut Pro because you pay once and you don't have to keep paying, not a subscription like the like Premiere. But I also started on iMovie, and so it was really easy for me to switch over. I store everything on these Samsung T7. I'll link these down below because these are really good. I edit off of them, like I have one right here. They're really fast, and with the M1, it's just a really good workflow. A little secret, a little tip is that I film in 1080, but I export in 4K. That way YouTube thinks that it's 4K, and it does a little bit, I think they treat the file differently if it's 4K versus 1080. So anyways, a little trick I learned from Maddie Hapoya. I don't remember, it's kind of hard to say. Anyways, I think that's about it. If there are some other things that I didn't cover or I should go in more detail, let me know down in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, but more importantly, go check out the resources down below. I make presets, like I said, for all these units, but also have like a digital worship planner for worship leaders. I have pad sounds. I even have a course that I made for the Pod Go. And I'm working on my second course right now. It's gonna be called the Worship Leader Blueprint. So it's if I had a worship leader intern, this would be everything I would wanna tell him. So I'm working on that now. I'm almost done with the script. I'm pretty much done with the script. I'm doing some like PDF things that I will give away also with the course, and then I'm gonna start filming that. So that's what's coming next right around the corner for Hey Worship Leader. I would love it if you would join me for all those things. Plus, I'm gonna be building a pedal board, another pedal board for myself. I have my mini board over there that you saw, but I have almost all the pedals in to build my own pedal board based around the HX Stomp XL. So I'm very excited about that. Make sure you don't miss anything. Bye.